Hello, good evening. This is Ernest Hemingway Folklore. Today, our story is entitled Kwaku Anansi and the Gam Statue. Kwaku Anansi and the Gam Statue. Once upon a time, there lived in a small village a man called Kwaku Anansi. Kwaku Anansi lived with his wife, Konolia, and their son, Ntekuma. There was famine in the village, so Anansi and his family decided to make a big farm. He worked all day without resting. However, Anansi did not work as much as his wife and his son. He often complained of being ill and stayed at home to smoke his pipe and to sleep. One day, Anansi went to the farm and saw how beautiful everything had grown. These vegetables, corn, jam and fruit are all ripe, he said to himself. At that very moment, he thought of a secret plan. Anansi went home singing an old festival song. He called his wife and his son to his bedroom and said to them, I, Kwaku Anansi, will not live forever. One day, I will die, and when that happens, I want you to promise to do what I am going to tell you. He went on, when I die, bury me in the center of our farm. Put the following in my coffin: a pot, a spoon, a knife, a ladle, a box of matches, some charcoal and kerosene. Add some salt, dried fish, and palm oil. He lit his pipe and continued, my last wish is that after you have put my coffin in the earth, do not cover it with sand, but with leaves and flat wood. Do not forget to let me go away with my pipe. He breathed deeply. These things which I'm asking you to do for me will help me find my way to heaven. I almost forgot one thing, though. Use a simple coffin and don't nail the lid down, he concluded. Connolly and Ntekuma nodded. They wondered what was wrong with Anansi. The next day, Anansi fell ill. He grew worse with his sickness each passing day. Finally, at the end of the week, he died. The whole village gave Anansi a befitting burial. All his wishes were fulfilled. After the burial, Connolly and Ntekuma thought it was a time to harvest the farm and enjoy the fruits of their labor. Surprisingly, each morning when they arrived on the farm, they noticed that someone had stolen some of their crops. This went on for some time until they could no longer bear it. Connolly wondered, Ntekuma, what can we do to stop the thief? Ntekuma thought hard and offered a solution. Let us make Gam statue and place it at the center of the farm to frighten and possibly catch the thief. It's a time to do that. It's a good idea, said Connolly. The next morning, the Gam statue was made and placed at the center of the farm. Anansi woke up at midnight to continue what he had been doing in the past days, which was stealing as much food as he could eat. He would make fire, cook and eat before morning. He always ate to his satisfaction before smoking his pipe under the moonlight. That night, as soon as Anansi woke up, he saw someone standing at a distance. He thought that since the farm belonged to him and his family, he could challenge anyone who came there at night. Who are you? He shouted and went a bit closer to frighten the intruder. What are you doing? He yelled again, but there was no answer. He went closer still and screamed, if you do not answer me, I will beat you severely. Again, there was no one. He then slapped the Gam statue with all his strength on the left cheek. His right hand stuck to the statue, so he threatened, "If you do not leave my hand, I will slap you again." He slapped the statue on the other cheek, and his left hand also got stuck. He then used his head and stomach. Finally, he kicked with his legs and found that he was glued from head to toe to the statue. Realizing he was trapped, Anansi began to beg the Gam statue, "Let me go and I will give you everything on the farm." Anansi pleaded till daybreak, and yet the Gam statue would not let him loose. He was covered in sweat. The sun began to rise, and Connolly and Ntekuma arrived on the farm. From a distance, they saw someone stuck to the Gam statue. They ran back to the village to call all the villagers. When they returned, they were surprised to find Anansi, whom everyone believed was dead, stuck to the statue. The villagers jeered at him. As soon as he was freed, Anansi ran fast as his tiny legs could carry him and hid in the ceiling of a room. He has remained in the ceiling of rooms to these days.